A little bit earlier in the show, we told you Donovan Mitchell earns the start in the All-Star game. Kenny Atkinson will be the head coach as well. Let's welcome in Chris Fedor from the Plain Dealer, cleveland.com, Cavs beat reporter. Chris, I know you wrote an article, and take us through this. Why Darius Garland got your vote alongside of Donovan Mitchell to be a starter in the All-Star game?
Yeah, Dave, it wasn't easy. To me, the second guard spot in the Eastern Conference was the toughest one on the entire ballot. When you talk about the guards, the front courts, the Western Conference, the Eastern Conference, it was that second guard spot in the East because I felt like I started with about 8 different names of guys that I thought were worthy of consideration to be an all-star starter. But when you have the conversation of all-star starter, like that's a select group of guys. You're not just picking all-stars. You're picking the guys that are going to start the game. And I felt like it was a select group, and I came down to Darius Garland and Jalen Brunson. And look, everybody looks at it a different kind of way. Everybody has different stats that they think are important, that measure value, that measure impact. And I don't know that there's any right way to do it. And I don't know that there's one stat that stood out to me above the others. There are some where Jalen Brunson is better than Darius, where he has been considered a more impactful player. Then there are other stats where Darius Garland has the edge. So I felt like those two guys, Jalen Brunson and Darius Garland, were very, very close. And I didn't know what I was going to use as a quintessential tiebreaker. But I think part of what I used is the Cavs record. They've got the best record in the Eastern Conference. They're tied for the best record in the NBA. And I feel like at some point you have to reward winning. And it's not to say that the Knicks are the Charlotte Hornets or Washington Wizards, but the Cavs are a step above the Knicks. And Darius is a big reason for it. And the other thing that stood out to me, Dave, is just the Cavs and how they play when Darius is on the floor versus how they play when he's off the floor. That to me shows his value. That to me shows his impact. And when he's on the floor, they play with a historic level of offense. When he's off the floor, they're basically the Utah Jazz. And so this isn't just a situation where the Cavs are 36-7 because Donovan Mitchell is clearly the best player on the team. Like, I think there's become a real debate on who's the best, most impactful player for the Cavs because Darius has been that good, because Darius has been that consistent. So when you combine it all together, plus the fact that the Cavs have the best record in the Eastern Conference, and he is really threatening to be 50-40-90 in terms of his shooting splits, I just felt like Darius got the edge slightly over Jalen Brunson. But if you went with Jalen Brunson from New York, I'd have no issue with that because only 3 guys in the NBA have scored more total points than him. And that's Nikola Jokic, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and Anthony Edwards. But I thought there was enough statistical advantage for Darius that I could back up that case for him.